If you've never felt, have you ever felt like that in your life?
I haven't felt like that in a while.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I have a thing that I like to do. Have you guys ever seen the movie Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. In the movie, Adam Sandler is babysitting his niece and nephew. And his niece and nephew, his dad used to say like bedtime stories, and he was like, "Oh, you want me to tell you guys bedtime stories?" And so they're like, "Well, we're gonna tell you bedtime stories." So they start feeding him information as he's telling the story, and they help him create the story. Well, the next day he goes out into real life, and everything that the kids said starts to happen. It rains gumballs. And there's no explanation why it's raining gumballs, but you as the viewer can see that a gumball truck broke down in front of him and the gumballs are raining out on him, but all he sees is that it's raining gumballs.
Right.
And so it clicks in his head that it's not what I'm saying that's making these things happen, it's what the kids are saying. And so he begins to manipulate the kids to say stuff like, this chick falls in love with me and she gives me her Corvette and this one over here. And so the kids are like saying it, and sometimes things go right and most of the time they don't, because it's a manipulation happening. The point of that story is visualization. Okay? Visualization is a very powerful tool. There are studies that have been done in the Nike company. And what they did was they took an Olympic runner, and they put all kinds of stuff on him so that they could read his brain waves and his heart and all this stuff. And they told him to go ahead and go out of the blocks like he was racing. And he did that, and they went ahead and they took they took note of how his body and his mind responded. And then they stuck the same stuff all over his body, laid him in a room where it was dark and quiet, and told him to visualize in his mind being in the gate and running the race. And the fact scientifically was that his body and his mind and his cells responded the same exact way as if he was actually running the race. Visualization is a very powerful tool. As children, when we're playing house, you can't tell me I'm not the mommy. I'm the mommy. And you're the daddy, and you're the baby, and I'm going to tell you what to do. And I'm going to be a lawyer who sings like Whitney Houston, and I'm going to own a car wash. And you can't tell me that it's impossible to be a lawyer who won a Grammy who runs a car wash. Because that's what I'm going to be. Okay? It's not until people start telling us it's impossible to be a lawyer who won a Grammy, who owns a car wash, that we begin to believe I need to change the way I think about things, because nobody in my family was a lawyer, and so I'm probably not going to be a lawyer. Maybe I should just own the car wash. Better yet, I probably should just work there, because if I own it, I might go bankrupt and I'm going to have to lose it anyway.
Because we're in a recession.
Visualization is a very powerful tool. So what I want you to do is get into a place where you are very calm, you are very comfortable, you feel good, the fan is going, you just drank some water, you feel real good, okay, you relaxed. I want you to close your eyes and spend 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night visualizing what your life would look like if you were at your perfect weight. See yourself easily and freely getting up in the morning and enjoying a nice shower, eating a healthy breakfast, getting into a car that you fit into comfortably and that you look good in, going to the airport and getting on a plane and fitting into it and not even thinking about it, going to the beach, walking along the beach in a bathing suit, and then some delicious man comes walking up the beach.
Smiling.
Did you see? She saw Chestnut walking.
She saw Chestnut. For real.
Please.
I work for Delta. I booked a flight for Morris Chestnut. He asked me to start booking his flights. He was in Atlanta like crazy this summer. My son wanted to meet him. I said, my son wants to meet you. I had an opportunity to go meet him. I didn't go.
Why?
Because of my weight.
Thank you for sharing that. Because we will always walk away from situations that we feel like we're going to be uncomfortable in because of other things. My godchildren, they used to live 4 hours away from me, and they were winning all these awards and stuff. And they were like, in Spanish, Nina means godmother. And they were like, Nina, are you coming up here for my award ceremony? And I was like, I can't, boo, I'm working. And the truth of the matter was, I didn't want to be embarrassment to them in front of their friends because
Right.
I was so big that I didn't want their friends to say, your godmother's really fat.
Right.
Or to be in one of those chairs at the assembly that are plastic, and if you sit on it, it breaks, and then everybody
Looking
looks
at
at you. Or when you sit on it, it dips, and you be like, oh, Jesus. And so you stand squatting for 45 minutes not knowing your thighs was that strong. But see, I told my sister-in-law the reason why. I shared with her just like you did, and I was crying and I was upset, and she went and told on me to my godchildren. And my goddaughter called me and she said, I don't care what other people think about you. I love you and you're perfect the way you are. And it broke me completely down. And so I say to you, never let where you're at right now stop you from doing anything.
Right.
Because you are worthy of love simply because you breathe. You took care of that man all summer long.
Right.
And if he was willing to meet you and your son, you blocked your blessing by putting on him what he probably wasn't even thinking about.
Right, right. And also let me say, you never know what kind of opportunity you
Hello.
probably squandered because, I mean, let's face it, you have X amount of, you only have one time to really engage somebody and really one time to make that first impression. And if you never even get to the door, you can't even walk inside the house.
Yeah.
So you never know what could have came from that. You know, he could have been like Oprah and be like, you know what, because you hooked me up, here's $1 million. But you'll never know because you never got to that point. You talked yourself out of your blessing. You blessing blocked yourself.
That's right. And not only that, but you spent the whole summer taking care of him and giving him exceptional customer service, and what he remembers about you is that you didn't show up.
Right. That's
Now,
right.
I talked to him, but I just, told him I couldn't make it.
Okay. I don't want you to do that anymore.
Yeah, please.
I want to be, sometimes we can't, sometimes we're not enough to ourselves. And so sometimes it might be easier to have somebody else hold you accountable. So from now on, whenever you have moments like that, where you feel like that, I want you to think to yourself, what would Stephanie think about this if I called and told her? And I'm going to tell you what the answer